Are you a network marketer having a few issues because of an unsupportive upline? You feel that if you had more support, it would really help your results. And so you want to find a quick and smooth solution to this situation. I've come across this 2 or 3 times in my lifetime now in network marketing. So like granddad in my whole lifetime, like what it has, I've been in this industry a while. And the first time didn't handle it so well. I'm going to give you 6 ways that I improved for the second time, and it really helped me to really elevate my results and really elevate my relationship with these people. I can never guarantee results, but I'm just going to give you what worked for me, and I hope it's useful for you and your team too. So let's go through these 6 points. Number 1, I would ask you to consider this. What is a successful outcome to this situation for you? Because I know in these situations, having been there myself, they're very personal and we can feel pained from this. So we get very emotional and we kind of want to have our say, and this isn't right, and I want them to know that, right? But if you still desire to have a productive relationship with your upline and you're hoping that they give you support and work with you closely, if you go in with a lot of emotion and you make it really personal, maybe even insulting, that's not a great way to get help. I did this the first time. You did this, you did that, I don't like this, I don't like that, what kind of person are you? And they're like, a person that's not going to work with you. I wash my hands. And I was like, now I'm definitely alone. And so I will give you some solutions sort of where you can look to get the help, but just bear this in mind before you enter into any solution. What would success be for you with this outcome, right? Number 2, look over the past communication. It may be that there are certain aspects that your upline promised you that they haven't delivered on, and you really should focus on those. It may be that something you thought they said, they didn't. And so when you go back over it, the very reason that you feel unsupported and angry, you never even agreed to that. And you're like, actually, is this something that, I've misunderstood? And again, that may diffuse a lot of your emotion and really help you with a fruitful outcome. Number 3, I remember telling this to my daughter. I said, every time you point a finger at somebody, love, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. I've read that somewhere. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, basically it means, I'm trying to be philosophical here, love. I was like, basically it means before you look at blaming somebody else, look at your own part in the equation. This is difficult to do as a person, right? If we look at social media these days, nobody wants to take a personal accountability. I saw that meme. Hands up who wants change, and everybody's got their hands up. Hands up who wants to change, and everybody's got their hands down. It's human nature. And so a lot of growth occurs in these uncomfortable sort of self-discussions where we go, well, what was my part in this? Were we unrealistic? Were we did we not do the action steps that we were given? And so our upline naturally lost interest because they didn't think we were interested. There may be more to it than you initially think if you delve a little, this is you delving a little bit deeper into your past communications. So I would always recommend doing that. If anything, just so you don't go look foolish. You did this, you did that. They're like, actually, no, it was you. I've got the chat here. And you're like, oh, I'll retreat backwards then, Now let's look at now we've got some concepts here. Now let's look at some practical steps you can take immediately to solve this. Number 1, you can look within your company. You can look above your upline, above their upline, right to the very top. Now, some people say, yeah, but I can be sort of almost adopted by a sideline or another team. I don't recommend, that's a big outlet there. You can tell by my exhalation, I don't really recommend that. You know why? There's no vested interest in your results for the other person. And so even the most ethical person in the world, when the back's against the wall, if there's a couple of people to give time and energy to, they're going to default to the person that benefits them. Human nature, even the kindest person in the world. And so I would try and look for someone whose downline you are in, and so your performance, them supporting you, gives them a financial reward. They're vested an interest in what you do. I did this. I was at an event in, I think it was London, and the number 1 earner in the entire company was over delivering a training. And so I got up loads of times. I got loads of promotions. And he was like, hey, you're doing really well. Whose team are you in? I was like, well, I'm kind of in yours. And his eyes, even though he's already enthusiastic, he had already pulled me aside to say, congratulations, you got on stage a lot today. How many promotions? He was like, when I said I was in his team, he was like, what do you need? You know, he was like, hey, do you want this? He wasn't like, give me the shirt off his back, but you get my gist, right? And so you could maybe call attention to the fact that, hey, things aren't working quite as well as I'd liked. Is there any support you can offer me? I am actually in your team. You know, that may bring you some fruitful results. Second, if that's not an option for you, maybe you've decided that it's got to a point now where not just with your upline, with the entire team, with the company, with one thing and another, you've just had enough. You know, even if the person turned around and said, okay, let's give it another shot, you'd be like, actually, I don't really want to. I'm kind of done with that. And so at that point, start to look at the extra costs of wasted time, wasted energy, and stress of you remaining where you actually know you're probably not going to stay. And so it's better to make a clean break, do some research, and pick a better fit. Make sure that this time you're clear in communication before going in of what you expect and what you're willing to give. And then hopefully, even in a week or two from now, you can be in a much better situation. You feel much calmer and much more content. Okay? Third option kind of mixes the two. Well, Richard, I want to stay in the company, but I'm done with the team. Okay, if you can't go up and find somebody, you could come to somebody like me or whoever it may be. There are lots of people out there that deliver coaching and training and support, communities, products that will allow you to gain support, training, and resources from a person who you would really like to work with, and you can stay in your company. Because, of course, I work with lots of, and there's other people like this, work with many different reps, many different companies, because there's some fundamental ways to build this business, regardless of the product and company that you're in. So you can learn a lot from other people and still stay in your company. So there's a solution there, regardless of whether you want to stay, whether you want to go, whether you want to combine the two. And I gave you some food for thought in the way you would even approach this, so you can get a much happier outcome. Was this good? Was this good advice? Was this useful? Did this help? I hope it did. I hope now you feel more educated on this subject. I hope you feel clearer, and I hope you feel you've got an action plan that you can now take into this and bring about a speedy recovery, or resolution rather, to an unsupportive upline. If you have any comments for me, if you enjoyed this, I'd appreciate a like and a comment. If you have any questions, if you need extra support, I do read the comments. As I always say, go create a day in a life that counts. Always have more desires than excuses. And I usually put a resource or two in the description, should you be hungry, to grow as quickly as possible. I take care of you there as well. Have a fantastic day. I hope this finds you well. Bye for now. And if you're a subscriber, I'll see you on the next one real soon. Have a good one.